Have you ever spent a hot summer's day looking at the clouds and wondering why the sky is so blue? Wondering why we call our planet Earth when actually with 70% water coverage, we really should call it planet water? Wondering about the water that flows in our streams? Wondering what happens to the litter that I see all around me?
Well, I've stopped wondering and started investigating. And if you, like me, have ever wondered, then keep tracking. Let's go find some answers.
Every learner knows that the formula for water is H2O. It's simple. 2 hydrogen molecules plus 1 oxygen and you've got water. But today, let's rather think about a new definition. How about hill to ocean? H2O. What I'm trying to say is that all water is on a journey. This journey often starts high up in the mountains as a small bubbling stream and slowly flows down towards the ocean. Along the way, they join with other streams to form rivers. But there is a danger at every bend. Pollution, like chemicals, germs, and rubbish, find their way into the water. These pollutants contaminate the formula until what enters our oceans hardly looks, tastes, or smells like H2O.
Some people like to start from the beginning, but I have decided to start right from the end. The real reason is I love the ocean, but recently I heard some bad news.
All the rivers discharge into the sea in Cape Town, and the quality of the water that's discharged determines the quality of that seawater. If the seawater is unfit for recreational use, it's a major problem to South Africa.
Can you even begin to imagine what it will be like if our beautiful beaches get spoiled and we cannot swim in the sea? And while we suffer, so do all the creatures living next to or under the water. Knowing the negative impact of pollution on marine life, environmentalists closely monitor the quality of our water.
Water is a basic human need, and in South Africa we rely on our water resources not only for our people, but also for tourism and recreation. Every day, popular bathing beaches along the coast are monitored. Samples and measurements are taken from the water and sent back to the laboratory. It is here that we measure how well we are doing on land, because a lot of what happens on the Earth's surface is going to wash off and ultimately end up on our beaches and in our sea. Once the sea is polluted, it affects not only the quality of water, but also the livelihood of many coastal people who daily fish to feed their families and to contribute to the fishing industry of our nation.
If all our rivers and litter get discharged into the sea, then I think I must find out what is the condition of our rivers and streams.
If the truth be known, our rivers and water systems are in a terrible state. Experts even say that in some areas, the quality of our river water is worse than that coming from sewage treatment plants. In fact, many inland rivers are unfit for human use. There are many factors that contribute to the poor quality of our water. In agricultural areas, chemicals are often added to sprays that water crops. Many of these chemicals are poisonous or contain nutrients that promote the explosive growth of vegetation. This vegetation depletes the oxygen in our water, killing all the aquatic life of a river. The excessive growth of vegetation can slow or even temporarily stop the flow of water towards the ocean, causing major flooding problems. In some areas where there isn't properly designed or managed sanitation, dangerous germs can enter the flow of water. Lower downstream, children may play in or even drink this water, endangering their lives. And of course, let's not forget that every time you and I litter, we are contributing to the problem. So why do we do it?
They litter because they don't care what the government is doing for them.
I think I litter because I just plain lazy.
The people can litter. I need the people to litter to get the job.
People litter because they are unhealthy and they are lazy to go to the bins.
I think people are not responsible They need to be educated.
People litter just simply because of lack of litter bins around town.
Take a quick trip to the cities, towns and villages of our country, and it would seem that littering has almost become an involuntary act, something very few of us think about, and even fewer of us are concerned about the consequences of our actions.
I think people do litter because they show disrespect, they feel disconnected with nature, they don't perceive it even to be a problem.
I think there's general agreement that people litter because they're lazy, essentially.
Just as I was beginning to understand the reason for why people litter, I went to the aquarium. As I stood and marveled at this hidden beauty, I realized that if my generation does not change its behavior, our rivers will die, and slowly we will destroy the world beneath the surface of the waves.
Conserving the life of our streams and rivers must become a high priority for all of us, and creative efforts must be made to teach children from a very early age that every time they drop a piece of litter on the ground, it has a negative consequence on our water and natural environment.
I get it. Reduce, recycle, and reuse. That's the news. We can choose.
We need to understand that we all live in a catchment area, and every time we leave litter to lie around, we are increasing the risk of sickness and flooding. That means that we all have to play our part in controlling the problem.
A catchment is an area of land which collects water and then drains it. When we litter in a catchment area, the entire system is polluted. That is from our hills to the oceans. This stream behind me is draining an informal settlement a few kilometers away, and polluted waters could ruin this beautiful beach. So I began trying to find out what kinds of litter are polluting our rivers and streams.
Litter is any foreign object that affects either the quality or movement of our water. Litter may simply be that cheap packet that you threw away, or it could be newspapers, plastics, tins, bottles, mattresses, or even supermarket trolleys. All these items pollute and contaminate our water.
Slowly, I am beginning to realize what an important role each one of us has to play in protecting our environment. This is not just a problem for government to sort out, but it is our issue. We can all contribute by working at reducing, reusing, or recycling as many waste items as possible.
So, the next time you want to litter, think about the river of life. Every drop of water that lands on the earth, whether from rainwater, spills, or overflows, joins to form our streams and rivers. Some water evaporates into the air, some seeps deep underground, and the rest journeys towards the sea. Any bit of pollution that is not removed has the potential to contaminate the water and compromise our health and future pleasure. Everything we do on land has a consequence, and if we do not do something about the state of our rivers today, tomorrow we will be facing crises that are not worth thinking about.
The two key issues, the two key disasters we're looking at is health, human health, and then environmental health. We're looking at severe environmental deterioration. We're looking at losses of sensitive habitats. We're looking at silting up and choking up of wetlands. And we're looking at direct threats to human health.
The end of the road as far as littering is concerned is an unhealthy environment for all, particularly for the aquatic flora and fauna. Litter and other forms of pollution affects the food chain. Birds and fish ingest plastics, Some fish eat other fish, and at the end of the chain we consume seafood as part of our diet. So in reality, every time we litter, we are actually polluting ourselves.
This is a scenario that none of us want, but the more people I spoke with, the more I realized that I have a responsibility to play in changing the destiny of our most precious resources. I need to change my mindset. I need to realize that I'm the very first link in a long chain, and each time I decide to pick a piece of paper and throw it into the bin rather than leaving it in the gutter, I am going to make a difference. So join me and let's not litter. Let's be water wise and change the face of Africa today for a better tomorrow.